So if Steven Gerrard is not actually there, does that affect his record? Is that a bit of a stretch? Probably. Bit of a bummer, but it's not going to put a damper on two of the most magical days I've had in a long time. What a Christmas. And I hope yours was the same. Started snowing here on the 23rd, never stopped through Boxing Day. Absolute winter wonderland. I've only had two of those in my life. It never snows like that here. So I was on a magical Christmas high, hoping that it would extend to a result for Aston Villa. Alas, that didn't happen, but I did get this fabulous shirt, which I'll talk about shortly. And I got a nice scotch as well, a 12-year-old Auchentoshen. So let's review and dissect Aston Villa 1 and Chelsea 3. Welcome back inside the parlor. I hope you had as wonderful a Christmas as my family did. And first things first, we received 128 entries for the Peter Withe print from our memorabilia show. I can't thank you enough for not just the entries, but also the stories I read from around the world. It is absolutely incredible to me. So thank you very much for that. So I did a number generator, and that number generator churned out a 32, which meant that Anthony Horden from Wicklow Town in Ireland wins the Peter Withe print. Thank you so much for entering. Congratulations, Anthony. I'll pop it on the freighter, and hopefully the print shows up sooner for you than all my Steve Earle football programs did for me back in the day. So, what do you think of my Christmas present? This beautiful new football shirt from a company called Football Town. They do beautiful stuff, this retro feel. Even the boxes these shirts come in are nice. And yeah, it's non-official merchandise, but I love the boutique companies. And I'm 6'2", 250. This is an XL, and look at how perfectly it fits the sleeve length, the collar, and where the cut is. It fits me like a glove. Could I have gotten a 2XL? Maybe. Should I lay off the Christmas pints and chocolate? Probably. And I reached out to these guys and I said, hey, I think my audience, that's you, would love this kind of gear. And just wait till I show you the shirt in the next episode. Oh! And they said, absolutely, we'll give you a Boxing Day deal. You go to footballtown.com, order this, the villain, or any other shirt, enter the promo code Holy Trinity Show, all one word, and you'll get a Boxing Day discount. And you'll be helping out the Holy Trinity Show. This, with a nice pair of jeans and a tidy pair of your favorite trainers, you're good to go. All right, let's go. The Holy Trinity, the three big issues or moments that defined Villa 1, Chelsea 3, starting with the statistical story, which was a tale of two halves, Villa in the first, Chelsea in the second, with the visitors heavily shading the expected goals tally. Even though Villa created 6 chances, most of them in the first half. In fact, it felt like more in the first half. But the pass success rate was very interesting. Good for Villa at 86, better for Chelsea at 89. But that Chelsea backline was tidy. Reece James, 93% passing accuracy, and that doesn't include the own goal. Then it was Thiago, 94%, and Rudiger was next on that list. What does that tell you, though? When the Chelsea backline is able to complete that many accurate passes, is it possible that Villa's press was just not that effective today? And a lot of long balls in that equation. Chelsea played 40 accurately out of a total of 59. Villa played 16 accurate long balls out of an attempted 29, so just a little over 50%. 12 crosses by Villa, only 1 was accurate. 21 crosses for Chelsea, out of which 3 were accurate, but 1 of them ended up being on the head of Lukaku for the game-winning goal. So because that Chelsea game was now the last game of 2021, the losses in the Steven Gerrard era were versus Man City, at Liverpool, and versus Chelsea. And although there's no shame in that, you know a competitor like Steven Gerrard won't accept that, oh, it's the elite Premier League 3, the top 3 spenders in the league. He's not like that, and the fans aren't like that. And given the nature of all 3 of those games, he'll look back and say, we were in those games. So now the question is, has he had time to properly assess this squad and see where the liabilities are, and how much say will he have in the recruitment process? Who is on Johan Lange's hit list come the January transfer window? That is going to be a very interesting story going forward. Honorable mention number 1, no Gerrard, no joy. A guy who commands as much respect as Steven Gerrard, a battler, a competitor, even as a manager, fighting away and kicking every ball in the technical area. You remove the conductor of the Villa orchestra from the scene, you're going to miss the personality and aura that he brings to the touchline. And with the greatest of respect to Gary McAllister and company, it's not like this was a substitute teacher situation where the players look over and they go, well, the boss isn't here, so we could take the foot off the gas. No, on the contrary, when they needed a boost, when they needed to mentally refocus at times, and they wanted to look over and get some inspiration and make eye contact with the boss, he wasn't there. And I just wonder if that might have been one of the reasons why the second half felt so different than the first. Honorable mention number 2, no John McGinn. And Meatball has been very effective since Steven Gerrard arrived. Very consistent. And you know, having just been named the Scottish Footballer of the Year, he would have been up for that game on Boxing Day. Now, Morgan Sanson did show some signs. That boy gets about it. And he was, on the day, the best successful dribbler statistically over anybody else. He had 5. I'm just not sure how close he is to being an ever-present, but Villa were thin in that position today, so they really had no choice. And with the marvelous Nakamba injury and the looming AFCON, you do wonder if these links with Glenn Kamara are legit or not. And the third honorable mention is that Chelsea kind of left the door open for Aston Villa despite dominating the second half. Remember the chance from Mason Mount where he's one-on-one with Martinez, who probably came off his line a little bit late, and then somewhere in the recesses of Emmy's mind, he remembered he was on a yellow card for chuffing up the penalty spot in the first half. First-class housery. And Mason Mount couldn't go around him to score. And then not long after, Martinez makes a great save from Callum Hudson-Odoi. And I'm thinking at that point, this game should have been dusted. It's not. We're going to have a Boxing Day miracle here, Zach Knight style. And it never came. Number 3, they just couldn't convert in the first half. And I'm trying to think back to a better 45 minutes this season in any game, maybe Everton the second half. But when you consider Chelsea, the quality of that opponent and the value of the squad overall, that was almost as good as it got this year. And, you know, Villa were tight and tidy, keeping the touches down. They were breaking, they were creating openings. But then a couple of recurring themes reared their ugly heads again. When Villa break 3v3, it just doesn't look like they know what they're doing. And whether that's just a matter of repetition or the personnel not being consistent or the fact that neither the fullbacks or the midfielders are very connected with those front three when they break, it's a concern. And Gary McAllister said at post-game, the final ball was not good enough, and that's something that they're working very hard on right now at Bodymoor Heath. Villa attacking in that first half was frustrating to watch. It was like deja vu over and over again as they took on a Chelsea back four and seemed to be targeting the inside left channel, which would have been young Trevor Chalobah, only I thought he had a very good game. It started in the 11th minute. Ollie Watkins on the ball, inside left channel. He does sort of have Danny Ings to his right, but they're not really connected, and the only way Danny Ings gets the ball is either a shot, save, rebound situation or somehow Ollie Watkins plays it over the top, but that's a difficult ball to play. A few minutes later, the roles are reversed. It's Danny Ings now in that inside left channel. The inverted winger tries to get to his right foot and hit it. Didn't work out. 19th minute, Ollie Watkins again, exact same location, tries to shape up on his right foot. Again, the shot is blocked. And then in the 40th minute, Matt Cash makes a nice run and beautifully releases Danny Ings, whose first and only thought is to hit it first time right-footed, even though Ollie Watkins is kind of in that same position in amongst the defenders. Again, shot, save, rebound situation maybe. but they just don't look like they have a plan. And I think Trevor Chalobah and the Chelsea defenders read that like a book. Show them onto their right foot. They know what they're going to do, and then block it each and every time. And it was interesting how in the first half with 4 at the back, Chelsea seemed happy to give up those chances with Villa's front 3 because they weren't really connected to fullbacks or supporting midfields ever. And then Trevor Chalobah, ironically, the guy who was replaced for Romelu Lukaku, now Chelsea have 3 at the back, and suddenly they dominate possession in the second half. I've said it way too many times on this show. In those transitional attacking moments, Villa does not look like it has a plan. And what they are still missing is a pacey, technical, powerful 1v1 merchant to cause problems on that left or right-hand side. It's not Ings. It's not Buendia. Neither of them are pacey, and neither of them get past guys by themselves with the ball at their feet. Could it be Leon Bailey? Maybe in time. Is it Traore? Don't think so. Trezeguet? No. El Ghazi? For sure no. And don't get mad at me for saying this, but in this system, Jack Grealish would have been perfect on the left-hand side, because on a bad day, he holds the ball, retains possession, and waits to try to make something happen. On a good day, he gets by the first guy and sets up a teammate, and on a very good day, he just takes it on himself and scores. Big issue or moment number 2 was the pre-penalty sequence involving Matt Cash, and it's easy to single out Matt Cash there, because it's not the first time he's dove in and conceded a penalty. Think back to Harry Kane versus Tottenham last year, and I know there's another one that I'm missing, at least one. And the really unfortunate thing about it is that this occurred only 5 minutes after Villa took the lead, thus justifying another of football's great cliches about vulnerability in conceding, which includes the tail end of each half and after you score. Had Villa hung on and taken a lead or built on that lead to halftime, I find it difficult to believe that the second half would have played out the way it did. I like to go back a little bit and see the moments and the incidents that preceded the rash challenge, and there were 2 opportunities for Villa to not only retain the ball, but actually go on the attack. The first one, Douglas Luiz nods the ball down to Emi Buendia. He tries to play a square ball in the midfield, which is a no-no. He's dispossessed, and that turned into the Callum Hudson-Odoi chance on the inside left channel. And Emi Buendia is concerning me because he's in his prime now. He's 25 years of age, just turned on Christmas Day, and every single game he's easily dispossessed, and then he looks up to the sky in frustration. That happens every single game. He's not a strong physical player. If you're the opposition, the playbook is easy. Crowd him, hurry him, deny him space. And it works. In time and space, he looks a player, but everybody knows that once you crowd him and deny him that room, he's easy to take the ball off of, and that's a concern. And then the second one, they survive the Hudson-Odoi opportunity. The ball runs to Jacob Ramsey, and God bless him, he's been absolutely fantastic this year. He's going to be a bona fide Premier League regular, and they say his younger brother's better than him. Wow. But on this occasion, he tried to feather the ball into Buendia, and he played it heavy, and that ended up becoming the penalty. And the number 1 big issue or moment that defined Villa 1, Chelsea 3 was quite obviously the introduction of Romelu Lukaku. I had a bad feeling when he was being briefed at halftime prior to his introduction, and I could not believe that he hadn't scored in the Premier League since Villa's visit to Stamford Bridge when he scored 2. This guy is a Villa killer. And how about in a game where 2 rosters were stretched to their limit because of injuries and COVID, that Chelsea was able to introduce a $100 million player at halftime, and then Kovacic. Must be nice. You cannot deny that Romelu Lukaku is a special type of center forward, a unique player that any club in the world would love to have in their side. You don't get sold for £100 million without being that. He's good in the air. He's good on the ground. He's got this inertia-based, powerful, pacey running style that we saw leading up to the 3-1 penalty decision. And his movement is excellent. His instincts are wonderful. But if Aston Villa wants to take those next steps, They need defenders who can deal with it or learn how to deal with it. And judging by the fact that Lukaku has only played 3 halves of football against Villa this season with 3 goals and earned 1 penalty, clearly they haven't learned how to deal with him. And on the 2-1 goal, his movement is superb, but Tyrone Mings, yes, he needs to worry about where Lukaku is, but his focus should be on winning the header away, and he does neither. He neither contests the ball in the air, or he blocks off Lukaku or gets goal side of him. He does neither. It's as if he switched off at the worst possible time, and I just wonder what was going through Steven Gerrard's mind when he watched that circumstance unfold. Just a couple of things to change on the updatable subcategories that we follow all season long, including the record at Villa Park, which falls to 13 out of a possible 27 points. Against the top 6 now, 3 out of a possible 18 points. And I'm sorry, penalties are not set pieces. Therefore, everything else stays the same. There's nothing better than after a disappointing result to do a little Boxing Week retail therapy. So take that £5 your nan sent ya. Go to footballtown.com and order the villain. I'll have another fantastic villain shirt to show you in our next show. And remember to enter the promo code Holy Trinity Show, all one word, and save yourself a little bit of dosh. No game now on the 28th, which is probably a bit of a blessing for Villa because they can get some of their players back and even the gaffer hopefully too. Until next year, be well, stay festive, and up the mighty Villa.